Hello, I'm Executive Chef Joseph Schutzer. Welcome to our kitchen. Today I'd like to share with you the recipe and procedure for making a classic French sandwich. Croque Monsieur and Croque Madame. In my opinion, it's probably the greatest sandwich ever made. It's one of my top 3 favorites, I guarantee that, and it's definitely a top 2 or 3 favorite brunch item. It is such few ingredients and yet yields such an incredible, flavorful, filling sandwich. What this glorious sandwich consists of is a really good ham, Gruyère cheese, great bread, a rich bechamel, and topped with a little bit of either Gruyère or Parmesan, and then you bake it. The sandwich is rich, flavorful, and very filling. Join me now as I show you how to make this incredibly fantastic sandwich. Let's begin with making our bechamel. So the first step with that is always making your roux. We have a pan over medium-high heat, melted butter. We're gonna add our flour. Remember, a roux equals fat and flour in equal parts by weight. So now as it's coming up to temperature, let's go ahead and stir together. Continue stirring until the flour has been absorbed by the fat, and we're gonna go ahead and cook it for a few minutes, just until the aromatic becomes a little nutty. We don't want to develop any color on it because at the end of the day, the bechamel is a white sauce. So we are going to let our roux cook until it becomes what is referred to in the industry as blonde roux. Now that our roux has cooked for 5 minutes and has taken on a nutty aroma, let's go ahead and remove it from the heat and go ahead and add our sauce pot with whole milk in it. Feel free to use a low-fat milk if you like. I just prefer whole milk just because it's richer and, it's fattier. So this we're gonna wanna bring up to a simmer, about 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, now our milk has come up to temperature. Let's go ahead and add our roux. Be careful with the roux. Roux gets very hot, and when it burns really, really bad. What I like to do, feel free to continue with a wooden spoon, but when it comes to this part of it, I prefer using the whisk because I can move around the roux better and bust it up and ensure that it completely dissolves and does not leave any lumps. Well, now all the roux has dissolved. I'm gonna turn the heat down to medium, and I'm gonna want this to simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes to cook the starch out of it. Also at this time, I will add what's called Onion Pique. It's just a chunk of an onion, a bay leaf, and 1 clove. I stick it together so it's easier to remove at that time. Feel free to use a shallot as I am in this case. And what I like to do is nutmeg. Fresh grated nutmeg, to me, is probably the integral part to this sauce. It just sets it above and takes it to that next level. Go ahead and give this another little stir. And we're gonna go ahead and continue to simmer this, as I mentioned, for 15 minutes or so. Well, here we are. After our 15 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and give it a taste and make certain that it is, the starch is cooked out of it, and which we've done. And at this time, I'm gonna pull it off to the side a bit, and we're gonna go ahead and season it with white pepper and salt. Give it a taste and adjust it if needed, and then we are ready to strain. Discard the onion piqué and let the bechamel set aside, and we're on to the next step. Well, now we're gonna make our sandwich. I just made some rosemary garlic sourdough bread last night. Very nice. So what I like to do is cut it in half. Very nice, nice tight crumb. Yeah. So now, put that to the side. What I'm gonna do from here is start slicing for our sandwich. So we're gonna get us 4 nice slices out of this. All right. This I'll put back into our cloth bag to store the bread. Now for the assembly, I have a pet peeve that bread slices have to match. They have to go next to each other. I could never have a sandwich like this. Oh, it just drives me nuts. So I'll fold them over. And this part's optional. Dijon mustard. I love to put, I don't do it often, but when I do, I really love it, putting the Dijon onto the sandwich. Because, I mean, let's be honest. What condiment goes better with a ham and Gruyère or ham and Swiss than Dijon? I mean, really, there's nothing. Mustard is the absolute king condiment for that sandwich. So let's go ahead and slather up our bread. And let's go ahead and assemble our sandwich. The ham that I'm using is a homemade ham that I cured and smoked using a pork loin. Wanted to try it to see how it would turn out. Obviously similar to like a Canadian bacon, if you will. And there we go, have that in there. Now with our lovely Gruyere, I'm gonna add a little extra half a piece on there because I love it. So now what I'll do is I will set this, close them up. I'm gonna set this onto a sheet pan lined with a parchment paper. Another option is utilizing brioche. Brioche bread is fantastic for this sandwich. This is a store-bought one. It is a good brand. It's pretty sweet and it makes an amazing bread pudding, and even goes great in stuffings for for your holiday, for your birds. Again, we're gonna go with the Dijon, and we're gonna assemble it the same way. Okay, there we go. Let's close this up. And now, whenever I use this type of bread, this sliced Pullman loaf, I always cut the edges off. I don't like the edges of the crust on it. Now at home, sometimes I will leave it on, but definitely in the restaurant or banquet capacity in a professional world, I am definitely cutting it off. Okay. And then we will move that again to the sheet pan lined with parchment. Now we are ready to cover our sandwich with the bechamel. What I like to do with mine is I'll gently lay it across the top and just kind of allow gravity to work a little and pull a little over the sides. Just gives it like a good smothering. And you don't want to drown the sandwich in it either, it just gets to be too much. And let me tell you, the sandwich again, it's really filling. Not only the ham and cheese is gonna fill you up, the bread of course, but this bechamel is really something else. It's so good. That's why I like the idea with the Dijon mustard on it. That acid is gonna help cut some of the richness from it. I mean, you could always have a nice mimosa or something with some blood orange or, something like that to help. Good glass of wine, Vino Verde. Got that. Now, Parmesan. Add a little more. I don't think it'll hurt, do you? Now, we're gonna place it in the oven, 375 degrees Fahrenheit, until the top gets a nice brown color and the center of the sandwich is hot. Well, there you have Croque Monsieur, Croque Madame. Absolutely love this sandwich. It absolutely is my favorite, one of my favorite brunch items. The Parmesan cheese is not necessarily on top. You could add more Gruyere. I like to mix it up a little bit, no big deal. Honestly, if I had more Gruyere, I would have loaded up more Gruyere on top, but I was kind of running a little bit low, so the important thing is that it's in the sandwich. There's a couple ways you can brown the top. You could go at a higher temperature, like 425, 450, or even broil. The problem with that is the exterior is going to get a beautiful brown coloring, but with that high temperature, number one, you risk burning easier, and number two, as the exterior or the top browns, the inside of the sandwich would remain cold. If I wanted a cold sandwich, I'd order from a deli, not a bistro. I love to serve it with an arugula salad on the side with a sherry vinaigrette or sherry vinegar and olive oil. Specifically those items because the acid level from the sherry vinegar cuts through the richness of the sandwich and it kind of cleanses your palate a little bit. And arugula because of the nice peppery flavor that stands up to the Dijon mustard, to the Gruyere, and the nice smoked ham. Croque Monsieur without the egg. Croque Madame with the egg. It's the only difference. This is one of those dishes that is ideal to serve on Mother's Day or any type of brunch that you may serve or offer or host. You know, even a bridal shower. The cool thing with this is they can be done in advance, so to speak. What you can do earlier in the day or a day ahead is make the sandwiches already with the mustard, wrap them very tightly so they don't oxidize and dry out, put them in the refrigerator, make your bechamel the day before or the day of, and then all you do is just smother it and bake them and they're ready to go. It can be done in larger batches. I've used to do it for, the first time I ever made this sandwich in my life was when I started in the kitchen 25 plus years ago at the Ritz-Carlton. We were doing it for like 400 people. And we were cutting them into little, not bite size, but they were more like 3 bite sizes. That was a lot. I fell in love with the sandwich immediately. And here I am, you know, almost 30 years later, still tearing the sandwich up. Also, I've done it for friends in Hungary. There was 8 or 9 of us there. All I did was, as you would in assembly, you build the sandwich, then you go to the next step and the next step. It's about, you know, prioritizing and doing your order of operations.
Good hangover food.
And yes, it was very good hangover food. Let me tell you, the heavy food helped absorb a lot of the alcohol. Well, thank you very much for joining. I hope you enjoyed the demonstration. Please, by all means, give this one a shot. And I guarantee you, it will be a fan favorite for everyone that eats it. Thank you again. You have it.